Hello! Have you noticed how communication today rarely relies on words alone? A text message using emojis, a YouTube explainer video, a business pitch, or even a video resume usually combines speech, visuals, text, gesture, sound, and design. This shift toward multimodal communication has become increasingly important in languages for specific purposes or LSP. In this video, I'm going to explore the multimodal turn in LSP through the lens of Australian Systemic Functional Linguistics or SFL genre theory. Although there are three major genre traditions in LSP research, Neo-Rhetoric, ASP, and SFL, and focus specifically on the SFL because of its strong emphasis on language, genre, and meaning-making in social contexts. I will first discuss the foundations of SFL genre theory, then explore the multimodal turn, where researchers expanded their focus beyond written language to include images, sound, gesture, and digital media, before finally discussing how these developments are reshaping LSP teaching and research today. To understand multimodality in contemporary communication, we first need to go back to the foundations of SFL. After the Second World War, global mobility, international trade, and scientific communication expanded rapidly. English increasingly became a practical tool for work, education, and professional communication. During this period, applied linguistics also began shifting toward more practical, educational goals. What became central to SFL is the idea that linguistics should not simply describe language in the abstract. Instead, it should help people use language effectively in real social situations. Halliday proposed that language choices depend on context, especially three dimensions known as field, tenor, and mode. Importantly, these ideas strongly influence educational practices. Curriculum projects led by Halliday in the 1960s and 1970s focus on teaching language in use and for use rather than isolated grammar exercises. So, from the beginning, SFL connected theory directly with literacy education and professional communication. Building on these foundations, SFL researchers gradually expanded from analyzing language choices to analyzing genres. In the SFL tradition, genres are understood as stage, goal-oriented social processes. This means genres are not simply text types. Instead, they are socially recognized ways of achieving particular goals through communication. For example, a lab report, a textbook, and a letter all have different purposes, audiences, and stages. This perspective shifted attention away from isolated grammar features toward larger patterns of meaning-making and social action. At this stage, however, most analyses still focus primarily on written language, as you can tell from these book covers of even the more recent LSP materials. They are still holding a pen. By the early 2000s, communication technologies were rapidly transforming everyday life. Digital media made it increasingly easy to combine words, images, sound, video, gesture, and spatial design within a single text. As a result, researchers began asking an important question: can language alone fully explain how meaning is created in contemporary communication? This led to the multimodal turn. According to multimodal researchers, communication always involves multiple semiotic resources working together. For example, in a student's video project at Hanoi University, Vietnam, meaning is shaped not only through spoken language, but also through visuals, video design, pacing, subtitles, and sound effects. Multimodality is argued to be especially important for language education because digital communication now plays a central role in academic and professional life. Importantly, these developments extended Holiday's original social, semiotic ideas beyond language itself. In other words, SFL evolved from analyzing language in social contexts toward analyzing multimodal meaning-making in social contexts. However, despite the growing importance of multimodal communication, research in LSP has historically focused much more heavily on written text than multimodal texts. The Hughes 2021 review of ESP research identified multimodal discourse as one of the field's newer and less explored research areas. This suggests that while communication practices are rapidly changing, researchers are still working to understand how emerging multimodal genres function across academic and professional settings. One way researchers have begun addressing this gap is by examining new multimodal genres emerging in the digital era. These genres combine multiple semiotic resources and often blur traditional boundaries between spoken, written, visual, and digital communication. One example comes from Hafner's study of science students in Hong Kong, where students created multimodal scientific documentaries designed for YouTube audiences. These projects combined spoken explanation, visuals, editing, and rhetorical strategies to communicate scientific knowledge to non-specialist viewers. Similarly, Ban Feng examined educational micro-lectures in China and found that these videos relied heavily on multimodal design features such as animation, camera angles, music, and visual layout. Researchers have also explored new professional genres. For example, Chang investigated the challenges students faced when creating video resumes. Students needed to coordinate speech, visuals, editing, body language, and professional identity within a short digital format. Let's have a look at this video resume.
Hello, my name is Pervin Yam, and I would like to apply as one of your accounting associates. I'm 22 years old. I've earned my degree in Bachelor of Science in Accountancy in the University of Santo Tomas, and recently passed the CPA board exam last October. Hiring me is like getting an all-in-one package.
Very interesting, isn't it? What connects these genres is that successful communication increasingly depends on the ability to integrate multiple modes together effectively. Communication is no longer purely linguistic, it is increasingly multimodal. These developments have major implications not only for LSP teaching but also for materials development and future research. First, multimodality is reshaping what it means to communicate effectively in academic and professional contexts. Traditionally, LSP often focus on specialized vocabulary, grammar, and written communication. However, students today increasingly need to create presentations, videos, online content, and other multimodal forms of communication. As a result, LSP teaching now needs to support multimodal literacy alongside linguistic competence. This includes helping learners develop skills in visual communication, digital design, audience awareness, and professional identity construction. Research by Rogers and Donchada, for example, showed that digital video creation helped students develop not only language abilities but also collaborative and professional communication skills. Similarly, Chan found that explicit instruction in visual communication and presentation design improved students' confidence and communicative effectiveness. These developments also have important implications for materials development. Traditional textbooks often focus heavily on written language, but multimodal communication requires more authentic digital materials and texts. This may include analyzing YouTube presentations, designing multimodal projects, creating research pitches, or evaluating video resumes. As Plastina argues, LSP pedagogy increasingly needs to move beyond purely text-based instruction toward richer, multimodal learning environments. Finally, multimodality opens important new directions for LSP research. Leeuwenhoek's review of ESP research identified multimodal discourse as one of the field's emerging but still under-researched areas. This suggests that researchers still need to explore how multimodal genres function across different professional, academic, and digital contexts. For example, researchers may investigate how professionals construct expertise through video presentations, how visual and verbal resources interact in online communication, or how multimodal genres shape professional identity. As communication practices continue evolving, LSP research will likely need increasingly interdisciplinary approaches that combine genre theory, social semiotics, discourse analysis, and digital communication studies. So, these are the main points that we have covered. If you want to further read, here are the sources that I've referred to in my video. Thank you for watching and see you next time.